Okay, just a minute, everybody. All right, how is everybody? Hope you guys are good. Hope everybody's having an awesome day or night, depending on where you are. Okay, so hello, everybody. Welcome. You guys are awesome. Okay, so first thing I want to talk about or mention is the giveaway. So the winners have been chosen. And as you guys know, we were picking one winner from one of our subscribers and one winner from our members. Hello, welcome everybody. Okay, so I will announce the winners, and I'm going to need you guys, if you're the winner, to email us, contact us through email, so we can get your address and where to send it to, basically. I will also after the live stream, I will also post who won, your names who won, and then so in case you're not in here, that you'll know that you were announced. Can you guys all hear me? Okay. Everything good on your end? What? Okay. So, our subscription, one of our subscribers, the winner is Cindy Jersey Shore. You were one of the winners. So email me, and we will figure out how we are going to get it to you or where to send it. Now, of our members, sorry about that, of our members, the winner is Shelly Hall. So again, shoot us an email and let us know where to send it. As soon as you guys email us, we can send it out. Congratulations, you guys. Hold on a second, you guys. Let me make sure. Give me 1 second. Okay, no, we're good working. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I wanted to make sure everything was working good. Yes, congratulations, you guys. Okay. Now, there's some more I want to get into. We will do part 2 of this case has more red flags than China. Thank you guys for all the support on that video, too, by the way. That was awesome. Okay, so, again, before I move on, just in case you're just coming in, we have announced the winners for the giveaway. So, please email us, and we will send it right out to you guys, all right? Okay, let's get into some stuff. First of all, I wanted to talk about, do you guys remember how Sammy referred to the party as Lord of the Flies, right? You guys all remember that? Okay, now there's 2 things I want to show you. One of them I found very, very interesting. Hey, princess. Okay. So, Lord of the Flies. I'm going to read this first, and then I'll tell you. Okay. Lord of the Flies is a 1954 novel by the Nobel Prize-winning British author William Golding. The plot concerns a group of British boys who are stranded on an uninhabited island in their disastrous attempts to govern themselves. Themes include the tension between groupthink and individuality, between rational and emotional reactions, and between morality and immorality. Now, check this out. I thought this was pretty freaking interesting. And it would not, I took this screenshot, but it would not let me click on it. Hold on, I'm sure this is going to go out on you guys any second. I have that. Yep, there it goes. Okay. Look at this, you guys. All right. Lord of the Flies Survival Project. This is from Schools, California, Tahoe Truckee, North Tahoe High. Lord of the Flies Survival Project. Lord of the Flies Survival Project. Introduction. So it, you know, it's just funny how, you know, things play in together. Don't you find that interesting? Hi, babe. We know what happened in Lord of the Flies. They all turned on each other. Right? Hey, everybody. Okay. Where is... All right, so the last one we covered was the town meeting, right? Or, I'm sorry, the community meeting. Let's go to...
Not ready? Okay. Good
Whoops, sorry.
Not ready? Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Angela Musalam. I'm the Public Information Officer for the Placer County Sheriff's Office. I'd first like to begin by thanking the Rodni Neiman family for being here. Thank you. As you all know, we continue to have local...
Just notice how she changed how she was dressed as to previously at these press conferences.
Regional, state, and federal agencies assisting us in the search for Kiely Rodni. This is day 6 of the search, and to date we have dedicated over 9,000 hours and over 900 tips have been received related to the search for Kiely. We'd like to mention that the Tahoe Truckee community has been extremely helpful to us during our search and our investigation, but we'd like to encourage everybody to please continue to notify the Sheriff's Office anytime you feel like you have a tip or any information that may help lead us to Kiely. It's recently come to our attention, and we have received several reports of adults trying to discourage people and possibly teens from coming forward with information that could help us locate Kiely.
This is when she came out and told us that adults were basically telling their kids to shut up and don't say anything.
So we'd like to remind everybody again, our interest is in not arresting any individuals, prosecuting any individuals.
She tells it right here. They never intended on arresting anybody. They never intended on doing anything to these kids, these teens. They were never going to do that. They were always going to label this an accident. You guys see what I'm saying here? Hold on, I want to just make sure. Okay.
We're holding them accountable for any underage drinking or illicit drug activity that did occur, that we know occurred at the Prosser Family Campground Friday evening. Our sole purpose in this investigation and search is to bring Kiely home to her family, and we need the community's help. We're here to support the community.
What about all of the leads and all of the everything that they said they had previous days? And now they're saying, you know, we need information. People are telling their kids not to talk. Nobody's coming forward.
As we mentioned earlier, we have set up an online portal where people can submit photos and videos that they believe may help lead us to Kiely. That service and that option is anonymous. You don't have to enter your phone number, and you don't have to enter your email address or your name. This is a strictly confidential, anonymous way for us to receive photos and videos from the Prosser Family Campground party that may assist us in locating Kiely and her vehicle. In addition to that, we want to remind everybody that we have...
Not for nothing, but this is bothering me. Don't you guys think it is very odd that in every other press conference that she has done so far, leading up till today, she's been dressed in a nice dress, you know, kind of like a, not like a, I don't know the word I want to use, not affiliated like with the police, right? And then all of a sudden today she shows up dressed in official gear. You know, what did she get for being a part of all this? Some kind of promotion, possibly?
An online email portal set up and our tip line. All of this information can be found on our social media accounts in our latest press release that went out just a few hours ago. We've created a link tree to condense all of the options available to the community and the public who would like to help us with any tips or leads that they may have. Again, we'd like to thank you for continuing the coverage in our search and efforts to locate Kiely. And again, we'd like to thank the Rodni Neiman family for being here. We'll open it up for questions.
Of the 900 tips that you've received, are they mostly from this area? How far out would they be from if they're from out of this area?
We've received tips from across the country, and we continue to. And at this point, our detectives are not discounting anything. Every possibility, every option is being explored currently as we continue to try to learn where Kiely may be and where her vehicle is located.
Have the tips slowed down at all 6 days later, or are they still coming in as they were?
No, tips have not slowed down. We have tips pouring in every hour, and we have all of our detectives rapidly looking through each and every single one of them and trying to exhaust each and every single lead. Unfortunately, most leads have not panned out and have not been fruitful, but we are not discouraged. And again, we're really urging anybody in this community and beyond who may have been at this party to please if they have video or photos from this party, to please upload them to our anonymous online portal. We are very interested in seeing these photos and videos.
Again, we are not going to arrest. We are not going to prosecute. I mean, they told us this from the beginning. We just didn't listen. Hold on. I want to make sure, because it said my stream was shaky. I just want to make sure it's all good. Okay. All good.
You're saying that some people may have been persuading maybe students or young teens to not come forward in fear of some sort of consequences. Can you explain that dynamic a little bit?
So we've received reports from adults around the community who we understand are dissuading people from coming forward. And that impedes our investigation. We want to find Kiely. We want to bring Kiely home to her family. And if people are out there telling people who may have valuable information to not come forward, that's an issue. Again, we're not here to arrest anybody and hold them accountable for underage drinking and drug usage. That's not our interest right now. That won't be our interest in this case. Our sole mission is to bring Kiely home to her family, and that's what we want everybody to understand. We've been saying this from day one. It's now day 6.
Yep, exactly. They told us right in the beginning.
Are those adults going to be held accountable for impeding within the information being brought to you?
Potentially, if we can prove that this is actually happening. Remember, these are just reports that we're receiving. If there is solid evidence, we'll have to pursue it. That's also our job. But again, right now, our sole focus and our only focus is to bring Kiely home.
Are those reports coming out of our community?
Yes.
Within the North Lake Tahoe Truckee area?
Yes.
Thank you.
As far as search efforts or maybe interviews that you guys have conducted from yesterday to today, has anything new panned out or new information to share?
There's no new information to share, but we will say that each day our detectives and our search and rescue crews do continue to search different areas, and they continue to interview new people, and they continue to develop new leads that need to be followed up on. And one thing that I think I'd like to clarify is that our detectives cannot debunk or not confirm any type of lead within minutes. Right? So I can't debunk a lead and say, oh, this is false information in 5-10 minutes. Some of these leads take days to thoroughly investigate, and that's what we're doing. That's what we've been doing from the first day of the search, thoroughly searching and thoroughly investigating. So this is a very complex process, and again, we're looking for the community's help to help lead us to Kiely.
Yesterday, I think one of the officials, they described this situation as looking for a needle in a haystack, but we don't know where the haystack is.
Right.
Is that still the case?
That is still the case. We wish it weren't. Are there any more questions?
What
There's a report of the couple that went missing on their way home from Hot August Nights in Reno. The search effort to find them, will that be taking resources away from this search effort?
I'm going to let Lieutenant Perry from the Nevada County Sheriff's Office answer that.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Perry. I'm the Investigations Lieutenant for Nevada County Sheriff's Office. We did have to pull one detective today for that investigation, as well as some of our investigative efforts down the hill to look into that, and we're currently working hand in hand with the Yuba City Police Department on that investigation.
Thank you so much. This concludes the press conference.
So basically what I got from that press conference was, listen, we're not here to get your teens in trouble. We don't even care what they did, what they do. That's what I got from that. That whole thing was, listen, we're not going to come after your kids. That's what I took from that. Let me see what you guys are saying. Okay.
Since 1851,
See that? Don't you guys think that's odd? That from then on, from the 12th on, she was dressed like this. Where'd the dresses and the high heels go? What happened there? You guys see what I'm saying? Something for sure. Because ever since then, she dresses officially. What, you know?
Good afternoon. I'm Angela Musalam, Public Information Officer with the Placer County Sheriff's Office. I'm joined by our local, state, and federal agencies today as
What was she before that?
we continue search day 7 for Kiely Rodni. To date, we've dedicated over 9,000 man-hours.
9,000 man hours for what? For what? People who were there searching said there wasn't even cops around. Honestly, I mean, this is crazy.
Search for Kiely. We've ramped up our search for the weekend. Today we have over 200 search and rescuers, including searchers by air and searchers in the water. Our detectives and FBI agents continue to sort through and comb through over 1,000 leads that we've received up until today from the beginning of this search. Yesterday, there was a potential burial site that was located near the campground. It was located by a search and rescue ground team. Kiely's family was notified of the potential development. The FBI responded to secure the scene yesterday. It was located by a search and rescue. And FBI agents continue to sort through and comb through over 1,000 leads that we've received up until today from the beginning of this search. Yesterday, there was a potential burial site that was located near the campground. It was located by a search and rescue ground team. Kiely's family was notified of the potential development. The FBI responded to secure the scene yesterday and was accompanied by the Placer and Nevada County Sheriff's Offices.
Now that's the one that they said that was found, and it was a dog's, it was a dog. Wouldn't the burial site for a dog be much, much smaller than the burial site for a human? I'm just saying.
FBI agents investigated the site through early this morning and recovered the remains of a dog. Let me be clear. We have one team, one mission, and one goal, and that is to find 16-year-old Kiely Rodni. We will not be holding a community meeting tonight. There's a concert, we understand, to support Kiely's family happening at the Truckee Regional Park from 1 to
A concert. A concert. Your daughter has been missing for a week, and you think it's a good idea to throw a concert for the community to make some money for yourself. Does anybody not see how freaking insane that is? I mean, who does that?
4 p.m. We'd like to remind everybody we have set up multiple ways for people to anonymously contact the Sheriff's Office regarding tips. Some of those options are available here to my left. We have an online portal. We also have a tip line that you can call by phone. We also have a link tree that we set up for people who would like to submit any photos and any videos from that evening of the party. You will be able to submit them anonymously without using your name, number, or email address. So again, we still are urging people in the community who may still be hesitant. You know, you're not going to get in trouble. All we want to know is, where is Kiely? Where is her vehicle? We just want to find Kiely. Thank you.
Angela, can you or the officers behind you confirm that her phone, Kylie's phone, the last ping was near the water?
Yeah, the ping for the data points and everything were near the water. It's hard to tell an exact pinpoint or anything like that, but just as much on land as it was on water.
That's what I was told, is that it was near the water and searches took place near that vicinity. Are those going to continue?
Yeah, today we have 226 searchers, a pretty astronomical number. I think the overhead team at the search and rescue, they deployed out all 226 members within about an hour, and so that's a pretty big feat on its own. They've extensively been planning and prepping overnight so that when people get here, we're ready to roll. The area has been walked, driven, flown, grid searched. They're getting into tighter grid searching to, you know, at this point we're looking for small and anything evidence-wise, as opposed to cars, people, things of that nature, even phones. We're trying to make it even tighter. We had swimmers we announced the other day that actually did surface swimming, so we don't want to disturb the water even underneath, because that can cause its own problems. And divers have been deployed at this point as well to assist in the search, and it's been pretty thorough overall. But yeah, we continue to look for that item as well. Just because it was last pinged there, that doesn't mean that that's where the phone stopped being. There's those notifications or data points could be lost.
Could you tell us,
There's lots of reasons those data points could be lost. No, not really. It's pretty easy. Did the phone ping there or not?
what body of water and what time that last ping was?
And you know what else is odd that he just said? He's like, just because that's the last time the phone pinged doesn't mean that that's the last time, you know, it was used for anything. Isn't that exactly what that means?
The Prosser Lake is where we're focused on right now. But again, that doesn't mean that that's the last location. So
When was the ping that you had?
I think the last location known that we've put out, you know, from I think day one is around 12:30 in the morning.
There was, this morning, I was out by Prosser and there was a dive team from Alameda.
So
When was the ping that you had?
I think the
Hold on, I just gotta go
there,
back a
that
little
doesn't
bit.
mean that that's where the phone stopped being. There's lots of reasons of why those notifications or data points could be lost.
Could you tell us what body of water and what time that last ping was?
The Prosser Lake is where we're focused on right now. But again, that doesn't mean that that's the last location. So
Right there. Prosser Lake is where we're focused right now, but that doesn't mean that that was her last location. Right? Because that wasn't her last location, was it? And they knew it then.
When was the ping that you had?
I think the last location known that we've put out, you know, from I think day one is around 12:30 in the morning.
There was, this morning I was out by Prosser and there was a dive team from Alameda. But just a few feet to the side, there were people recreating and people going by in a canoe. Are you not afraid about them disturbing any possible evidence that could be there?
Yeah, you balance this, shut everybody out, and we don't have evidence to say that there's something that we're going to locate. You know, are you better off having more eyes in the area or not? There's times where we have shut down areas. We closed off the boat ramp at one point in time to cover like certain area and ground and things like that. So
To the side.
shut everybody out, and we don't have evidence to say that there's something that we're going to locate. Are you better off having more eyes in the area or not? There's times where we have shut down areas. We closed off the boat ramp at one point in time to cover up on.
We closed down the boat ramp one point in time to cover up on what? What happened at the boat ramp? Remember the camper that said that they thought they saw Kiely going back and forth to the boat ramp? You think that could have been somebody else dressed like Kiely, pretending to be Kiely? I'm just saying. He slipped up to cover up on what happened at the boat ramp. I mean, this is what I'm saying. From the very beginning of this, if we just really, knowing what we know now, we can. I know we could have known that before. But knowing what we know now, they told us from the beginning. Everything was screwed up. It was so corrupt. They were covering everything up. It's crazy. It is crazy.
Up on to cover like certain area and we don't have evidence to say that there's something that we're going to locate. Are you better off having more eyes in the area or not? There's times where we have shut down areas. We closed off the boat ramp at one point in time to cover like certain area and ground and things like that. So there's always a concern, but we also don't have like hey, this is the area. And so at what point do you cut off the entire Forest Service and things of that nature? So I think we've been reasonable with the areas and times we've had to put in stop gaps to prevent people from moving around, but we do that based off of information. More people around gives us information, but they've been recreating throughout that lake since long before, and so it is tough. A diving operation like that is really almost like you're going into the water blind, and they're basically searching with hands, because once you start maneuvering the ground, it's like going through mud. So these are tough operations, and there is no right answer for everything, but that's always a concern. Everything is.
Do you know about how deep it is right now? Because the water level's so low, below the natural level.
The deepest point for Prosser that I was told was 57 feet.
Did you have divers out there today and swimmers today?
Divers, yes, today. I don't know if they have swimmers out today. Swimmers was a precaution so that we could ensure, to clarify, because there's so many levels to this. We had boats, we had side sonars, which allow you to see things, certain types of fish finders, which can go lower down into the water. But at that point, we still hadn't touched the ground or anything like that. So swimmers on the surface allowed to use masks and see things without murking up the water, just to cover if there's something you could see. Because once you touch the ground, you could potentially have all that earth come back up over any kind of evidentiary item. So divers were the last case scenario in the attempt, because for the most part, you could go in over and over and over again, but potentially you get one shot at it. And so trying to use a phased approach that makes the most sense and gets us to where we want to be.
And my apologies, I'm new to the area. How large is that lake?
I don't know. It's not a very big lake overall. It's a man-made reservoir, and I believe as large as it is, I believe we have extremely good coverage on that lake as well.
Okay. And what's the name of the dive team?
There's a lot of teams out there, so I don't know specifically. I know Alameda was mentioned. I don't know which all teams were brought in, simply because they all showing up today, and then some have been added. But I can tell you that numerous agencies from all over California are coming up to assist. 226 searchers is a pretty large number. We're expecting the same tomorrow.
Do you expect to go back in the water tomorrow?
Depending. It all depends on coverage, right? We want to use our resources for the best purposes. There's bodies of water that we're also interested in. We've been checking, but we have to have purpose and reason for what we're using our searchers for.
Are you also calling on the public to help in these land searches, maybe terrain searches, or is it just law enforcement right now?
Our searchers are volunteers, the majority of them, but they also go through a training. So Cal OES has a typing system, so when the sheriff's office is going to utilize searchers for a specific purpose, they have to be trained up, they have to have all these things, and they're covered under what's called a disaster service worker. So workers' comp is picked up by the state in case of things that could go wrong, or injuries and whatnot, where we wouldn't be able to supply that for people in the public. And so we don't give direction, but we also provided a mapping system, CalTopo, which is a free app that anybody can download, but we've also included a map that is here locally at the family's trailer here in the rec yard or the rec center parking lot. It has map, QR code, and then people can see where other people have searched and also contribute to the tracks.
We're going to take 2 more questions and then we're going to wrap up the press conference.
How long do you guys see yourselves, the level of hours that are being put into this and the amount of people that are searching? It's a 1 week now today, so how much longer can we expect this? And it's been very encouraging, but at some point, is there going to be a drop?
Yeah, I'll speak to the investigation side. And that is that as long as tips are coming in, we're going to continue that effort. And we'll continue that effort as long as we can. And obviously, if a tip pans out and leads us in a direction, we're going to devote resources to that. So, you know, I'm just speaking to the investigation.
So I'm just curious as how come, like the Sacramento, the Neighbors app, where the girl was seen topless running from a
Side of the house.
from a Honda CRV and was pulled back into the vehicle. Was that tip fully investigated? You know, the problem is these people lie and they cover shit up and they work for a corrupt department and, you know, unfortunately you can't trust any of them. So we know from the very beginning that they had no intention on coming down on the teens for anything that happened. We know that. We know that they have video of a fight and that they were requesting more footage of that fight and at the same time said to look out for Kiely's necklaces.
Will continue, if it's unsolved, as long as it goes, and we'll continue to dedicate resources to it.
Look, it's been a week, and we know there's a lot of people out there, and you know, you're saying, you know, you won't get in trouble if you come forward, but what can you say to somebody who might know something or has seen something after a week and they haven't come forward yet? There's a huge reward. So what is it that we can say to get someone to come forward who might have that important information?
I would just encourage them to do so and do the right thing. You know, we've received over 700 tips.
Over
that we
1,000.
I was going to say, she just
over
said
1,000
900.
tips, but 700 and I believe 20 that have been entered and received, and we are following up on leads. And so that obviously takes resources to do. But if we have that one tip that leads us in the right direction, that could change everything, yes.
Thank you. This wraps up the press conference. Oh, we'll take one more question.
Oh, I just have one question regarding the Cal Topo. Captain Brown, the other day you had mentioned that you were trying to also put into place a way for people to upload like GPS coordinates of where they've been and that kind of thing. Is that in place yet?
I believe that is in place, and I want to say that there was a mechanism designed and should be, I can follow up with it too and get back with you, but at the trailer I believe we had members out there to give people some instruction. There was also a system set up so that we could take the tracks, download them. Marin County was helping us to process those and get them entered. So I believe that's it's through the same app. Yeah.
Great.
So ultimately somebody who used a GPS unit can save those tracks, and then those can be uploaded at a later time. It doesn't have to be done through like the live tracking that's being utilized. But I've looked at the map. There are people going out. They are using it. And I think that it's helpful in a big way. But people keep asking, should I go where those tracks are? Should I not? I don't know, because somebody could walk right by a car or a person and not even know it. And that happens lots of searches and lots of times. And so, you know, there is no direction, because if I had somewhere I would send, you know, teams. We have 226 people I would send to that location. But we don't. So we just encourage people that if they see something, let us know, and then we can help follow up and look at it. Don't touch things if you see something and you're concerned about it, but let us know. And to follow on what Lieutenant Barnhart said, the search and rescue, of course, is going to have to tailor back at some point in time. But our teams, even today, this morning, are building out plans that go well beyond any point of time and continually expand. And when that time does come, we'll work on plans of how do we continue to make sure we're up in the area and having a presence, because much like the investigative side, it never stops and never ends. And this is a highly recreated area, so I would just encourage people to keep their eyes out and keep looking around and let us know if they see something. Even if it's small or little, we'll come take a look and see if it helps us piece things together.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone, again for being here. This concludes the press conference.
Again, another press conference with no information. I mean, honestly, it seems from the outside watching this whole thing, it's like, are you people really doing anything? Like, how could we not see that? They never had anything new that they brought to the table. Let me kind of see what's going on over here. Okay. Hey, you guys, please remember to hit that thumbs up. Please subscribe. It's a free way for you to help out the channel. And don't forget to leave comments too in the video. All right. There's another one I want to go over with you guys. I think it's this one.
We need to get to.
Okay.
This is on the 15th.
Good afternoon. I'm Angela Musalam, the Public Information Officer for the Placer County Sheriff's Office. I'm joined by our Unified Command today, and we're providing an update on the investigation and search for Kiely Rodni. I'd like to first introduce Nevada County Sheriff's Captain Sam Brown for the latest on the search and rescue efforts.
Good afternoon, everybody. So obviously our search for Kiely continues, and we're trying to do the best that we can to keep things moving in a positive way and attempt to find some clues and locate some idea of where we need to get to. We've been working pretty close with the family, trying to make sure that we're providing them with up-to-date information, but also try to protect from a lot of the ups and downs that have occurred throughout this whole ordeal. We are still looking for any clues, videos, tips, any information to help us to put pieces together and help us to direct where we're going and how we're going to continue to do a search. We are moving into a more limited but continuous search and rescue effort. We've pulled in a ton of resources towards that goal.
Limited.
And I think to date we've had over like 9,000 man hours into searching, which is pretty astronomical. Our biggest problem is where do we go and how do we keep sustaining this? And so we do have some plans that were continued. Our team, our overhead team, worked extremely hard into long hours and continues to work to this day on creating plans that we can continue to follow up on. But we are going to have to switch modes and kind of focus on the investigative end and try to figure out where do we go from there. We still want all eyes and ears out there. We're coming into hunting season. We're hoping for people to have eyes out all over the place.
Notice who's standing over here. Cal Fire.
And we're going to continue to put all of our efforts in as a unified command and continue to try to do our best as we move forward. So in the last 10 days that we've been searching, there's been an incredible effort. There's too many agencies, too many people to thank. But it has been pretty astronomical, the resources from air support to ground support to divers and swimmers and you name it, and we probably called and asked for it. And I would say that the majority of resources came in a relatively quick period of time. As we start to transition into more of the background investigative stuff that's been going on and really putting emphasis on that, we continue to work with the detectives. The Nevada County Sheriff's Office is highly invested in that end, as we have been from the very beginning, and we're going to continue to try to do the best that we can to keep things moving forward. The biggest thing that I'd like to say from our end on the search effort is we really appreciate the outpouring of support that's been from the community, from the family, and everything that's been going on. The community members and even folks from outside the community coming in to help look for Kiely and continue doing that search on their own as well is extremely important and has helped us with a lot of, hey, where should we go and how do we do it? I've never seen such great support, but I want to make sure that everybody stays in a positive mode and continues to move forward, because we still need people to have their eyes and ears out there and keep working towards the goal. And our goal, which has never changed from the beginning, is to find Kiely Rodni. Thanks.
I'd like to now introduce Placer County Sheriff's Lieutenant Josh Barnhart for the most recent update on the investigation.
Good afternoon. I would like to also thank Kiely's family for their continued support in this effort. It has truly been a feat. I'd like to commend the community for coming together to support us and all of their search and rescue efforts. I'd like to commend our own search and rescue and detectives, and also you, our media partners, for helping us put out the word about Kiely. We are committed to following through on all the tips that we receive. We are continuing to investigate leads from those tips. Today we have 50 plus detectives that are out and about interviewing and following up on those tips. We've married up with the FBI, our detectives in the FBI, to go out and do that. Another request is for more video. If anyone has more video that they have not submitted, please, there's no small amount of information for us. And more witness accounts from the party. If you have not come forward, if you were there and you saw something, please come forward and let us know. In closing, I'd like to say that we're putting the pedal down, that we're continuing to move forward this week, and that after this week we will be modifying things to a task force style. That means our resources will continue to move forward, but in somewhat of a different manner. Thank you.
As many of you are aware, yesterday we put out an updated photo on a sweatshirt that Kiely was seen wearing at the party Friday evening.
These people in their sweatshirts.
Just to provide some clarification on that, we did receive video evidence showing Kiely at the party wearing the white sweatshirt you see to my left. To clear up any confusion,
Bullshit.
That same day, Kiely was loaned that black sweatshirt you see above the first sweatshirt. And we never detailed or said that she was wearing the black sweatshirt. We believe that Kiely was in possession of the black sweatshirt at some point during that evening, but we have received video evidence showing Kiely wearing the black sweatshirt, and she was seen at the party. I'm sorry, the white sweatshirt, excuse me. So I just wanted to clarify that portion. We've also received confirmation that there is a Ram sticker that is located on the back of Kiely's vehicle, right underneath the rear.
Isn't it funny that Sammy did her interview with American Dream Chaser talking about the Ram
wiper blade.
Talking about the Ram sticker. Now, in that interview, when she was talking about the Ram sticker, she says, "Oh yeah, and and a few of us just remembered that she has a Ram sticker, or no, she said a picture of a sticker of a bull on the back of her car." Now, it's like, it's funny that she said we just remembered, because they had not looked at the back of her vehicle before, right? You didn't notice that sticker until when? When you were pushing her vehicle into the water? Is that when you noticed the sticker? And isn't it funny that they're just now talking about this sticker on the 15th?
So we believe this is very important information for the community and anybody in the area who continues to call in any tips to see if they can clarify that they also see a Ram sticker on the back of Kiely's vehicle. That was one notable thing that we've noticed. As you know, we remain committed to finding Kiely. That is all the information we have to share right now. We will continue to share any updates as they come and as we are able to release them to the public to our social media accounts. So at this point, the press conference will conclude. We will limit questions to the press only and 2 questions per reporter in the interest of time, because we would like to get our command staff back to the incident command post so they can continue their investigation.
why, I just, someone asked me why they haven't sent out an Amber Alert yet. Is it because they didn't meet the criteria?
So that question was answered very extensively, about 4 or 5 days in a row. I can have the California Highway Patrol elaborate on that if.
Still, though, the 15th, she's been missing for 10 days. No. Yeah, 10 days. And no Amber Alert was ever issued.
You can. Thank you.
Sergeant Strecker with the California Highway Patrol and Truckee, and essentially, yes, there's very detailed and specific criteria for Amber Alerts. And as much as we might want to get that information out, the specifications on what has to be met in order to make that wasn't there. We, I think, collectively agree that the big social media push and whatnot that we've had has certainly reached a tremendous amount of people. So I personally feel very comfortable that our outreach in that capacity has accomplished what we could have accomplished with the Amber Alert. And certainly if things do change and that criteria changes, we would again apply for it and see if that'll happen from Sacramento.
You said possibly moving forward in a little bit of a different way. Can you say what that means in terms of personnel and search groups?
Sure. I'll have Lieutenant Josh Barnhart answer that question.
I figured that would come up. So we've identified lead investigators from each agency, Placer County Sheriff, Nevada County Sheriff, CHP, Truckee PD, the FBI, and we will be moving forward in a task force manner. That means that with these leads, we'll be able to cycle personnel through rather than having a large group of personnel here. It doesn't mean the investigation is going to stop. It will continue to move forward. I hope that answers your question.
JD, has there been any change of position by the adults that have advised the teens not to speak? We talked about this a few days ago, that this was a very important part, that there was adults advising the teens that were at the party not to speak and contact authorities. Has there been any change in position with that?
I don't know that that's readily apparent. We only received several reports a few days ago, and since then we haven't received additional reports, but that doesn't mean that people are still telling, other teens potentially or young adults to not come forward. Our detectives and the FBI investigators are extremely committed to interviewing as many people as possible who went to that party, and they continue to do so today.
Thank you.
To follow up on that question, has anyone interviewed by the FBI in the surrounding area been uncooperative with investigators?
I'm going to let Lieutenant Barnhart answer that question.
I would say for the most part, everyone's been very cooperative, yes. And like I said, thank you to the community. Many people have come forward and given us information, but we haven't run into very large roadblocks with people not wanting to give us information. I think what JD was talking about was probably an isolated incident that we were able to get past.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
In the future, will you be able to release the image of Kiely wearing the pink and white shirt?
That's up to the investigators, but at this point, we don't want to compromise the investigation, so this was the only photo we were able to release. Any more questions?
Since the investigation is proceeding in a different way, will there continue to be press conferences and community meetings in the future?
We will not be holding a community meeting today, but we will hold press conferences as needed.
Am I allowed one more question?
Sure.
I have a question from the public, from my listeners.
Sure.
That went out and searched and used the CalTopo. And they want to ask that in what capacity have you used their searches within your searches there, Captain Brown?
Yeah, JD, thanks. That's a great question, and I would still put emphasis that even as the search goes into a limited and continuous mode,
that map is still accessible. So anybody that's going out for the length of time that we don't have answers, I would recommend like logging on and throwing those tracks out there. So ultimately, when search and rescue operates, there's an overhead team that designs plans and creates them. And we do that based off of information from the investigation, information from the map that folks are going out and using. That doesn't necessarily mean, though, that we don't go out and say search that same area, which is also why we told people, you know, that it doesn't matter if we went and searched somewhere. If you go and search it again, you could literally be standing on a cliffside and not see something that's on the other side based on trees and terrain and rocks and all kinds of various things. And it's happened in many searches and in many areas. And so that still remains a huge possibility. But those tracks are taken into consideration as they come in of, okay, what kind of resource or what kind of push do we go? And is there really good coverage and is the land flat? Then that might indicate something versus if on a topographical map, if there's more slant and slope, and even though people may have walked on the top end, maybe we still need air support to get better eyes on it. But I would say that it has been a tremendous tool. It was fairly innovative from the team that's doing things, and CalTopo, for us, for search and rescue, has always been a huge help, and just adding more tracks and more information doesn't always give us the answers, but it gives us an idea of direction and things. But yeah, it has been helpful in the event that the community is like, why are we doing this? We know we haven't released any maps. We're still not choosing to do that at this time. At a certain point, we may choose to do that, but it's been discussed, and it really doesn't give any benefit or help because we don't have a direction or clue of where to go anyway. So everybody's pretty familiar with where the epicenter of this all occurred, and it is worldwide from that point, expanding out of where do you go. So thank you.
Okay, now I would have to go back to get the exact date, so don't quote me on this. But I can't remember the exact date, but it was the same day that the family got an anonymous $25,000 donation that the cops pulled down on the searching. It was the same exact day. I talked about it and I pulled all the information up a couple of lives ago. But yeah, the same day that the family received an anonymous $25,000 donation, the cops said they were pulling out on their searches. They were, they were backing up basically. Isn't it odd? Isn't that odd? That the same day they get all that money, cops back up. Who do you think donated that $25,000? All right. Do you see what I'm saying? They literally gave us hints from the beginning, you guys. Okay, I just wanted to make sure my stream was still good. You guys, also I wanted to say, anybody who wants to become a member and join the family, or anybody who wants to donate to the channel, the links are all down in the description below. Please be nice in here. We're all able to have our own opinions. Just don't, I just ask that nobody is a jerk to anybody else. There's some stuff that we're all just going to have to agree to disagree. That's how it is. Okay.
Good morning. I'm Shannon Moon. I'm the sheriff of Nevada County.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I just want to make sure I got the right one. Because I think this was the very next one that they did. Let me just make sure. Yep. Okay. Yep. So that was the 15th. And then the very next one was the day after they found her.
And appreciate everyone's response and being here today to get some more information into our investigation. We have been working with the family and really since the very beginning trying to make sure that we focus on all of our efforts being for the family. And at this time, last night we did receive some information of the recovery of the vehicle that we've been searching for, and it was located inside the Prosser Lake. It was located within a search zone that we have been searching since the very beginning of our operation. We were very fortunate that we had the assistance of a volunteer group, the Adventures with Purpose, that came out with some very specific expertise and were able to help us in locating the vehicle that we had been searching for several weeks. It's at these times that we really want to recognize the reason why we're all here, and that is for this family. We've said that from day one with...
No, the reason you're not there is for the family. The reason y'all were supposed to be there was to find Kiely.
Our staff, the incredible amount of collaboration that we've received from our partners in this region. You know, clearly being a mountain town, we're used to having great collaboration, knowing that none of us have enough resources to go around, but when we all work together, I think it is an incredible show of how committed all of our agencies are for our community here. Working hand in hand in unified command, joint command with the Placer County Sheriff's Office, folks from the California Highway Patrol, the Truckee Police Department, and our friends from the Federal Bureau of Investigations.
I mean, have you ever heard, listen to how she is speaking. It's crazy. It's almost like she can't even believe the shit that she's saying. She seems very nervous to me. Not very happy that that she was found, but very, very nervous.
The amount of effort that all of these agencies put together really, truly is why we're here today. And as we eliminated a lot of tips and information that was coming in, I think it's very important to understand that all of that work did lead us to this time. And being able to focus on the services that we provide to our families here that are impacted. We've recovered the vehicle. We recovered the vehicle last night. We have located a decedent inside the vehicle. We believe it is our missing person. We have not been able to positively identify.
Isn't that insane? This is the next day. The next day after she has been found and they have not been able to positively identify her. That is not normal. Not when her family is all there. There is something very, very wrong with that, you guys. And then now knowing how the autopsy came out, it doesn't make any sense.
But it's more than likely where we are today. And we wanted to make sure that the family had all that information first. The last thing we want to do is have them learn information.
Had what information? You just said she wasn't identified yet. I mean, that is very odd. I'm sorry, but that is super weird.
Outside of our team. So I think that is one of the points that I really want to make sure that our communities know and the folks that are watching today know is truly how committed we've been throughout these last few weeks in coming to this resolution. It's still an active investigation, and I understand there will be and that we will continue to receive lots of questions.
Oh, hi
regarding our
everybody. Hi News
investigation,
News. Thanks
and
for
we will
coming
release
in.
what we can. But at this time, our commitment is to this family, and that is where we will consistently reach for making decisions on what we release. Again, it is still a very active investigation. Again, I appreciate everyone being here, getting this information out. It is, the reason why we're here is because of the community support and the amount of work that was put into this investigation to where we could clearly identify very specific areas to search. The Adventures with Purpose folks did just a fantastic job at being able to locate the vehicle as quickly as they did, based on, again, a lot of heavy lifting that the folks behind me have done throughout the last couple of weeks. So I appreciate everyone being here, and we'll open up for some questions.
I'll go first.
Yes, ma'am.
What agency called in Adventure with Purpose, and when did you decide, if it was you guys, that we needed this extra help?
Captain Sam Brown from my agency will be happy to answer those questions.
Yeah, thanks. The question was, is which agency requested? I'm not exactly sure that an agency had reached out and requested from within our unified command, but as everybody's reading online and seeing all the information that was coming out, and we realized that there was an interest from Adventures with Purpose, we did link up that group with Sergeant Mike Powers with the Placer County Sheriff's Office. They had lots of communication as they were going to be traveling to this area, and then a lot of detailed information that was shared that wasn't necessarily out to the public yet, that hopefully was of assistance to helping them locate the area to go to.
You said the car was found in the area where you've been searching since the beginning. What did AWP have that maybe you guys didn't have, or why was that missed in the initial search?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. That's one that everybody's going to have, right, is how did we not find it when we were searching? The lake was extensively searched with side sonar, with an ROV. We had divers, we had swimmers. I think that's part of what we're going to have to go back to do and debrief. You know, when peace officers are out in the field and volunteers and searchers, it doesn't mean that they're experts in the field, right? These are sometimes ancillary duties, and we're calling from other agencies to try to jump in. And tracking underwater is an extremely difficult thing to do. So I think part of our debrief on any of these situations is how do we figure out to improve our services, work on our resources and the way that we use them. A lot of this equipment is high-end, very expensive, and you really need to have a lot of practice and expertise. And I think that's where a group like Adventures with Purpose is able to focus and practice those skills and really hone them. And so we're appreciative that they were able to come out and locate it. I also don't want to take away, though, from anything from our volunteers as well as law enforcement that have been out there. I mean, we literally had people swimming in the water looking down so that we didn't disturb the ground initially. You know, my understanding is the vehicle was upside down. That also makes it more difficult. And if silt and things come up above, that can also make things difficult. So before I really can say, hey, why we weren't able to do it, I also could say that we eliminated a lot of areas that we would still be searching if we didn't have all the great people out there. And that helped give them some guidance as well, I think. But clearly their expertise in diving and their equipment that they brought to the table assisted us, and we appreciate that.
Did they specifically have any specific technology that all of these 16 law enforcement agencies didn't have?
Real quick, let's not forget this man talking, Captain Sam Brown, Mr. Cover Up, slip up over here. I said it yesterday, but it just amazes me that he makes $251,000 a year as a cop. That's more than the President of the United States makes. How is that even possible? And his main role is in corrections. So I'm just saying, it's pretty weird. Mr. Cover-Up is making all that money. Wonder why. Wonder what he had to cover up and why he's been the spokesperson for Nevada County this whole entire case.
I'll have to debrief with them before I'd have the answer to that question. I believe we're going to try to do that today.
Adventures with a Purpose has referenced red tape a couple times, saying they don't have the red tape that maybe your assisting agencies have. What is that red tape, and why might it be easier for a private organization to do this?
I don't know exactly what we're talking about in regards to red tape. I think that from the very beginning, we never deterred anybody other than certain scenes that we closed off at times that became areas of interest and we wanted to protect for evidence. So I don't know that there was any red tape ever put on this. I mean, if you look at the amount of man hours that went into it, it was like over 15,000. And I know it's even higher than that now. I don't think there was ever red tape. There were maps created for civilians to be out. The boat ramp in the lake were never actually shut down, because the way we were looking at it is more eyes out there, the better off we're going to be for finding Kiely, and that was continually the goal. So I'm not sure that there was ever red tape. I think it comes down to lots of factors, and like I said, we're going to debrief and try to figure out how do we become better and do a better job at these types of operations.
Why did agencies believe it was an abduction at first?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of miscommunication. I don't know that it was ever labeled as an abduction. I think that you can never take that off the table. And so as we talked as a command group and unified command with all my partners that you see behind us, you couldn't remove that off the table because we hadn't found her. And so, there was some of the struggles with some of the services that we wanted to obtain and things we wanted to do, but we couldn't say it wasn't an abduction, but we also never...
You worked it the whole time. They're claiming that they worked it the whole time is an abduction, but never issued an Amber Alert, which is unheard of. And, and with them also calling it an abduction, they didn't have to look at the people closest to home, did they? Because that was never their intention.
Said that it was an abduction. I think that was clarified fairly early on, but we also probably wouldn't have received all the services and all the people if that wasn't an option. If this was truly a search and rescue mission, we may not have had all the resources to conduct interviews. I think they identified over 400 juveniles, and to be able to interview all those folks and provide feedback off of all that, it takes an army of people, and I think we were lucky to be able to put that together between my partners and agencies that are right behind me.
Did any of the juveniles, anybody mention a car going over the side, a car in the water, out of all those?
I don't believe that statement was made, not to my knowledge.
Was there any indication that this was an accident or foul play?
That's still being investigated. If we'd like, we could turn it over for CHP can give some information. They are conducting the accident investigation utilizing their MATE team.
He said it right there. The accident investigation. They always planned on ruling this an accident. Once she was found, they always planned on ruling this an accident.
Good morning. Josh Ellers, Assistant Chief with CHP Valley Division based in Sacramento, which Truckey's a part of. I can confirm that our department is conducting a fatality traffic collision investigation. We're harnessing all of our resources, working with all of our partners here. As you see, we're utilizing our MATE team, our multidisciplinary accident investigation team, to harness more data from the vehicle that was recovered. Also, we've utilized all of our air resources to map and video and take photographs of the area in question. And that's currently ongoing, so I can't comment on the nature and details of that investigation, but I certainly appreciate all the partnership that we have here with our local county and state partners, and we'll continue to assist in any overarching way that we can as an agency.
Do we know how close the vehicle was to the actual party site?
I don't have the exact location in terms of distance, but it was relatively close to the area.
How does he not have it? They said the party was here. They said the car found was here. How do you not have the exact distance? Right? It's like, but again, you guys, and I will say this again. I will say this till forever. We don't know when Kiely disappeared. We don't know the last time she was seen. And we don't know the last time she was alive. And I say this, hold on one second. I don't want to miss that. Oh, patty cakes. Thank you so much. Welcome to the family. And I say that because why else? You have to ask yourself, that video that they're saying was her last sighting at 6:08 that we've torn to shreds and know that it was photoshopped and faked. Why else would they have to fake a last known sighting of her? Why else? That's the thing, though. Everything has gone off Sammy's say-so that there was a wild party at Prosser. That's what this whole case has gone off of. But there is no proof that Kiely was there. There is no proof that a party took place and Kiely was there. None. But that's the story we were all led to believe. So, what really happened to her and when did it happen? Because they obviously felt that they had to fake that photo and say this is her last known location. So, what reason would you have to do that? Think about it.
Question.
Like a few hundred yards or a half a mile?
I couldn't say. I haven't seen the exact data and the mapping. That's still ongoing.
Did many partygoers leave by the same route?
You know, this is, I can't comment on all of that, but what I can tell you is, and I think it's been discussed, is this is a very popular area. There's a lot of foot traffic, a lot of vehicular traffic on and off road. So certainly crisscrossed and a lot of extensive movement in that area continually throughout this time of year, certainly.
Is there any suspicion that it could have been another car who maybe hit this car, or was it a one-person car situation?
I don't have that information that I could comment on at this time. What I can tell you is we'll do a thorough investigation. We'll take every bit and piece of information that we have, including what's already been provided to us, and we'll reach some conclusions that will be provided to the parties of interest at that time. Thank you.
Before Adventures with Purpose went out there this weekend, when was the last time that we had swimmers or divers from any of these 16 agencies out there searching that area?
I'd defer back to the Nevada County Sheriff for that question. Thank you.
Yeah, I would say that we actually have had divers, not necessarily in Prosser, but in lots of bodies of water up until even the days that they were there. There were many ponds they were following up on Coldstream, as well as other bodies of water. So I don't know that dive teams ever discontinued. It was more of trying to still follow up on all of those things. And I believe Adventures with Purpose also had been diving at other lakes as well within the area.
Is there any time frame from the time that Adventures with Purpose started, how long it took them to find it?
You're talking on Prosser Lake specifically?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was relatively quickly, but I don't have an exact time. Like, again, we're gonna have to debrief with them, figure out, between putting equipment down, getting in the water, and identifying where the car was at.
Can you talk about what happened last night in terms of taking the car out? What kind of law enforcement was there? And what happened last night?
Yeah, I mean, I think most of the law enforcement partners you see behind me were present during that time, trying to do the best they could for ensuring that everything was done correctly, and also trying to add some levels of privacy to the best of the ability in worrying about the family and ensuring that they were covered as well. But I mean, beyond that, I don't know what your specific question is asking.
Logistically, how do you get a car out that's offshore? How does that happen, and then where does the car go? What happens? What happens from last night when you arrived?
Just think about them when they were extracting the vehicle. They flipped the car, from their own words, they flipped the car with her body still in there, which is not done. Because why? You will destroy evidence. All the shit that fell out of her car, none of that was taken. What does that tell us? That tells us that they never intended on investigating this case in the first place. And when she was found, they didn't want nothing to do with it. Why? Because they already knew that they were going to rule this an accident. Even though her driver's seat of her car was pushed all the way back and she couldn't possibly have driven in there. From the hatchback of her vehicle, with the seat belt sticking out of the back, the front window smashed out and the back window all the way down. It's the most ridiculous thing. But y'all want us to believe that she drove herself in the lake.
Today.
Yeah, so once the car was located, dive teams were assembled. I believe Placer County was probably still the primary dive team. they have to use lots of devices to lift the car, turn it over, and then the use of tow trucks was what made it possible for pulling the vehicle out of the water. And the vehicle is taken down. The FBI has offered up assistance and are going to be helping to conduct investigation regarding the vehicle itself and making sure that we don't miss something that may be in there that we're not aware of.
Are you guys confident the car was in the water since the night of the party?
I have no reason to believe that it wasn't, but until we have those answers, I wouldn't know the answer to it.
Can you just clarify as far as what teams had been in that area before Adventures with Purpose, if any, on that specific, on Crosser?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost so many that it would be hard to link out between the different teams. There were numerous boats, Yuba County, Alameda, Nevada County, Placer County. Swimmers came from Washoe County. We had divers from every single one of those agencies and then some. I mean, it was a vast amount of people. And I would just say, unless you've conducted these types of searches and tried to do it, it does take a level of expertise, and nothing's perfect. When you fly a helicopter over the air trying to identify if something is there, most places give that less than a 5% probability of detection, meaning if you flew over, you only have a 5% chance of seeing something. You had trees and brush and bushes and dirt and all these other things, and it becomes a pretty difficult task. Even though once you find the answer, on hindsight, everything looks 20/20, the reality is it's not that simple. It is pretty complex and it's tough. So again, we're just appreciative that the resources came out and were able to help us in locating it.
Were there signs that the person in the car tried to escape?
I think that's too preliminary for us to be able to determine that at this time.
Was there more than one body in the vehicle?
Nice.
Signs that the person in the car tried to escape?
I think that's too preliminary for us to be able to determine that at this time.
Was there more than one body in the vehicle?
See that? Was there more than one body in the vehicle? And he had to roll his eyes and he had to look up before he answered, no, I don't think so. Wouldn't that be something you known from a case? For God's sakes, you've been investigating this case for how long? They done found the car. Was there one body in there or was there more than one body in there? It's not rocket science. It's not something you should have to think about.
No, there was not more than one body in the vehicle.
Describe.
Were there signs that the person in the car tried to escape?
I think that's too preliminary for us to be able to determine that at this time.
Was there more than one body in the vehicle?
No, there was not more than one body in the vehicle.
Wow.
Difficulty is what water does over 2 weeks to evidence.
It depends. That's a complicated question. I'm not an expert in water. However, temperature of the water and things like that come into play. But it can add difficulty based on many factors that can cause damage to, obviously, things that we want to look at to investigate, but also to bodies that may have been submerged for a period of time.
There likely could have been tire tracks or some type of signal that a car did go into the water there. Did rain impact that? Did this heavy activity in the area impede seeing those signs?
I think everything is a factor, but again, that's where we rely on the MATE team from CHP to come in with their expertise and be able to provide some of those answers.
And it seems that Adventures with Purpose have pretty sophisticated equipment. Is this something that the agencies here have, or you all still need?
Yeah, I'll have to debrief with them to figure out what equipment exactly they use to see if it's items that we have or if it's a matter of training with the items that we have. So until we talk to them and know exactly what they used and how they went about it, I wouldn't be able to answer that correctly.
They also said the car was 14 feet deep. Did y'all go that far to look for the car?
Yeah, some of that information is sometimes deceiving. So yeah, the car was reported at 14 or 15 feet. However, the water level since the 6th has also dropped a vertical 3.5 to 4 feet, which could be 20 to 25 feet off of shore. So a lot of things have changed in those aspects until we.
You know what's funny is this guy says, well, I'm not an expert in water. And it's like when people were talking about Lindsay and she's like, well, I can't search. I'm not an experienced searcher. I'm not an expert in searching. But you got random people, strangers, just everyday people out there searching. I mean, it's crazy, the shit that comes out of these people's mouths.
We really can look into all that information and sort through it. It's difficult to say whether those factors had a play in it or not. I think it's still more important for us to debrief, look at training, look at equipment, look at tools, and look at outside entities that are experts, where this is maybe their full-time gig that they do, and try to see how we have that involvement from the community to come out and help support.
At this time, can you tell if there are any signs of foul play?
At this time, we're not going to be able to say anything like that.
It's been said that people were drinking at the party that night. Was anything found in the car that could lead you to believe that she was drinking that night, where the person found was?
Yeah, the investigation's ongoing, so we're not going to be able to comment on that.
Seemed like where they found the car, it might have been pretty far from the road. Do you have suspicions that maybe the people were parking on that little island?
I wouldn't be able to comment on that either unless somebody gave some statements to that. I hadn't heard any information like that, though.
Do you have any theories as to how the car got in the water, and also what gear was the car found in?
I think if I make up theories, then I'm just guessing, and I'm going to lead us back into a trail that's not certain. So we'll wait until we have those facts and details. And as far as the car, we're not going to release any information until we've done a solid investigation on it.
Who received the first call from Adventures with Purpose, and what was that call like?
I don't know that we received a first call. I think we reached out to them after we read it online. And so I'm not sure, I mean...
Bullshit. The AWP, and listen, I'm pissed at AWP. And I am. I'm sorry. But AWP did say, call the authorities. They called the aunt because they didn't have contact for Lindsay. And then they called, I want to say it was the grandma. And then they called Ellie.
Again, with 150 law enforcement officials, it's possible that a call came in and something happened, but from the unified command and talking with my partners, none of us were aware of an initial, so we tasked the investigative sergeant with contacting them and reaching out. So I believe, best I know, we did that proactively on our end.
And they contacted the family?
I think there's still some sketchy details on exactly how that contact went out, so I don't want to speak on behalf of the family.
What was it when you heard, you personally, when you heard that they might have found the car? What went through your head?
Well, I think what we all are thinking, which is hopefully this is true, and we got a lot of work ahead of us to make sure that we still do right by the family. Our biggest concern is making sure that the family has been aware of everything from day one.
When you heard that they might have found the car, what went through your head?
Well, I think what we all are thinking, which is hopefully this is true, and we got a lot of work ahead of us to make sure that we still do right by the family.
Do right by the family.
Our biggest concern is making sure that the family has been aware of everything from day one, and that we're not shielding them, but we're also not bombarding them with things. There's a lot of ups and downs throughout this investigation.
The family has been aware of
emotional,
everything from day
trends
one.
throughout the whole thing, and our goal was to make sure we're supportive of the family throughout this whole task, and doing our best in that.
How long will an investigation into the car, maybe that's for Highway Patrol or FBI, how long does an investigation to look at a car take to figure out what may have happened?
I mean, I think there's a lot of factors in that. I don't mind turning it over to CHP and let them.
Because obviously we have a multifaceted investigation with multiple agencies, it can take time. The FBI is working, evaluating the vehicle. We have to come in and do that. We want to allow them to work. We'll come in and examine data, examine the vehicle, have all of our investigators look at that car. So depending on circumstances, it can be several days, it could be several weeks. We also want to wait on other information related from the coroner's office and other things that all get compiled into a comprehensive investigation. So the easy answer is it could take a while.
All right, we've had an opportunity to hear from most reporters. Most have asked 2 questions. Is there anybody that had a follow-up question that they have not been able to ask yet?
Got a follow-up.
Go ahead, sir.
There was a report that Adventures with Purpose was told by police that they did not need to search Foster, or at least in the specific area where the car was found, because that had been extensively searched already. Is that true?
Yeah, I'd say that's probably not accurate, and we shared maps, ping information, and location.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably not accurate. Okay. If he wanted to sell it, wouldn't he come out and be like, oh, that's absolutely not true?
And so we probably shared that that was extensively searched and sonar was used, and that may add to the level of where they chose to go to first or last. However, nothing was prevented or shared, and I don't believe that we gave any indication that we thought we knew where she was at, because clearly from all of our daily press releases, we reported over and over again that we didn't know where she was at, and we needed anybody's help and assistance in finding that location.
But you were working in partnership with Adventure with Purpose?
Yeah, I believe that what ultimately occurred was that our sergeant was able to make contact with them, Sergeant Powers with the Placer County Sheriff's Office, come up with a plan and share information on where things were at. And so we're still appreciative, like I said, of them being able to locate the vehicle.
Will they get the cash reward for helping find the vehicle and the body?
It's not a question I'll be able to answer.
May I ask, have you been able to determine a cause of death, and will there be a toxicology report conducted?
The question was, have we determined cause of death, and will there be a toxicology inquest? Yes. Autopsy is scheduled for tomorrow. Toxicology results generally take 4 to 6 weeks for a return on those, and at that time we will provide that back over to Nevada County.
Does anyone from the family want to make any comments at this point specifically about this massive search and all the tips that came in?
Don't believe they do at this point. Yeah. So with that, we'll go ahead and wrap up the press conference. Thank you all for coming here today. We certainly appreciate it, and pay attention to both Placer County Sheriff's Office as well as Nevada County Sheriff's Office as we continue to share details as they become available. Thank you.
Pay attention for what? I'm pretty sure, let me just make sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the last time LD came out and made a statement. The 22nd. Right? That is insane. Now, I thought this was interesting. So, y'all know that Mags's mom owns the hair salon, right? In Truckee? 61 or something it's called. But this is Mags's mom. Okay? She used to own and operate a salon in Maui. Remember, if you go back, remember that Hawaiian connection that we made with Cult Burger and all of that. There's a lot of connections to Hawaii here. I just want to keep that in people's minds. But let's talk about her for a second. Truckee Hair Salon changes hands, continues to serve customers old and new. This was October 6th, 2020. Okay, Melissa Cox sold her business, the Truckee Hair Salon, Coop 61, and is moving to Mexico. The single mother of a 9-year-old is one of many left with limited options caused by financial strain related to the big cough. Unlike businesses across the state that laid off their employees and closed up shop, however, Coop 61 will remain in operation and in the trusted hands of one of its stylists, Anna Larson. Okay, that's about her. Let's get to, okay. Okay, that is, okay, actually, I'll read this to you. Okay, Cox said she knew she was going to have to leave her 7-year-old business in May when schools began to discuss continuing remote learning into the fall semester. And yet, Cox had signed on a lease that would last 2 more years. Between her obligations to her son and her job, Cox said she was beginning to feel trapped. She said the property managers were not offering rent relief and suspects that her small business loan was rejected because she didn't ask for enough money. She said friends and neighbors offered childcare, but plans always seemed to fall through. They'd offer, and then a week later, I would hear, oh, little Joey got exposed and we're quarantining for a few weeks. I learned over and over you can't rely on anybody but yourself. So it doesn't sound like the community was there for her. Cox said one of a few silver linings to her transition abroad was the ability to confide in her stylist in an honest manner. I felt comfortable being vulnerable and telling Larson I have no idea what to do and have her say, I want it, let me take it. It's bittersweet. That is why she was calling from Capitola right before crossing the southern border with an end destination just an hour north of Cabo called Tato Santo. Apparently there's a huge Truckee population there. And we know a little boy there. My son is excited. Okay. About Anna. Isn't it interesting, though, that in a time, in Truckee, in California, at a time when all the businesses and shit were shutting down and people were losing everything, this lady, Mags's mom, had enough money to purchase the salon. And hold on, I'll get into more. But also, that same time, she also took out loans, PPP loans. You can look it up. I did look it up. And they were for like $14,000. And it says it's all been repaid. But I just want to point that out, that she purchased a business and then still had to take those government grants, right? Larson, who owned and operated a salon in Maui, said she was grateful to be in a position to seize the opportunity and continue Coop 61's operations. When I left Maui, I did so because it was time to get off the island and start a family, Larson said. I didn't want that tension. Larson said her children are now 12 and 15. Okay, so one of those is Mags, right? It's got to be the 15-year-old. She must have a younger sibling, I'm guessing. Now, this was 2 years ago, and she was 15. So she's got to be 17 now. So I don't know if, I know everyone is saying that Sammy is older. And she, I have no idea. But Mags is only 17. We know that from this article. Because I know people were curious about that. Larson said her children are now 12 and 15, and the remote learning experience is somewhat self-directed. I have a lot in me that I can put into a creative endeavor like this, Larson said. I have more space to focus on what's mine again. Larson said her investment has already been rewarded. The salon receives new calls every day. She's done hair for 25 years through all kinds of different economies, and it's a strong business. So a woman who couldn't afford it, who owned the business, was basically pushed out because nobody would help her with anything. Mags's mom bought it, so she is we know she's a business owner in Truckee. But it just seems funny how all these people, this whole community, wants to stand together and protect each other. And again, I will say it. It's because they are all hiding mutual shit that they don't want exposed. And I think what exposes some of them will expose all of them. And they all know that. Okay. Okay. Okay, so Melissa put a lot of love, that was the previous owner, into the salon, and I'm excited to step into role, and then it wasn't something she just had to walk away from, Larson said. It's an amazing feeling when you create something in the community, and you leave it, and it continues to thrive. The regulars of Coop 61 certainly appreciate the smooth business transfer. Cassie Hebel. Now, how many times have we heard from this lady, who's the teen frontrunner, basically? Cassie Hebel, a longtime customer and the executive director for the Truckee Downtown Merchants Association, got a pixie cut before quarantine, so she has not returned to the salon since before March. Even so, Hebel said the transition feels like a win-win. In the uncertainty, newness can happen, Hebel said. Hold on, let me go over and see. So what do you guys think? I mean, they honestly told us from the very beginning that they were never going to, the teens were never going to have to pay for what they did. They were never going to be arrested. They were never going to be prosecuted. They honestly, they let us know that they were, they let us know that they were not, this was not run like a normal investigation right from the very beginning. We should have known. And eventually we did know. And we were like, listen, they're going to come out. There's no way they're going to call this. They're going to call this an accident. That's what they're going to tell us. That's the bullshit that they're going to push. You know, and when that Megan lady came out and I did that live and we were talking about her, I could not, I mean, the people that came out to speak against, or to speak out on this case that claimed to have information, it was just all a bunch of BS. Oh, Shelly Hall. Yes, congratulations on being the winner. One of my mods want to drop, she needs the email. She said she can't get it. Okay. Oh, you know what else I wanted to talk to you guys about? Yes, congratulations, Shelly, on winning the first giveaway. Okay, somebody sent this to me, and I thought, you know what? That's kind of, all right, so hold on, you guys. Okay. So we talked about this picture yesterday. I want to make sure it wasn't going to go out. Usually it does. So we talked about this picture. So Jagger posted this on the LLK Instagram page, right? And he said that I miss you so much. I'm glad to finally have a piece of you with me or something, right? And I was assuming, I'm assuming that it's this ring. Okay. But Jagger did not have this color hair. So if this is Jagger, and I said this yesterday, how insane is it? What, baby? Here. How insane is it that if he did, he's living in the lodge, dyeing his hair, and wearing Kiely's jewelry? Like, how sick and twisted and demented is that? You know, and it's funny because they weren't together, but ever since she went missing, he's been all, oh, you're my angel. I love you. I miss you. I love you so effing much. And posting all this shit. Right? Meanwhile, telling everybody that she was drunk driving and that this was an accident. Hell, he was saying that before she was even found. Okay, and then looking at this ring, somebody sent me a picture yesterday They were like, I don't know if this is something, but it looks just like that ring. So let's look at that real quick. Well, it doesn't really look like the ridges, but they do have rings that look just like that. They do have these kinds of rings, and I'm sure they're in different styles, that you can have ashes of somebody that's been cremated put into. So somebody said that might be what he was referring to, saying, I have a piece of you with me. Could that be, y'all? I mean, how sick is that? I mean, Jagger, I always said, I think Jagger was obsessed with Kiely, and she didn't want him, and he knew it. But he always had this obsession for her. Oh my God, these pictures. I don't know why that shit happens to me. So, if it is true, either way, him wearing her jewelry pisses me off. But if he's really legit walking around with some of her ashes, that is an FU to her, because she didn't want Jagger. You know, what is Lindsay's freaking problem? Seriously. At Muse News, ew, yeah, ew, right? I mean, it's so crazy to me, you guys. You know what else is crazy too? Off subject, but I just want to mention this to you guys. A lot of people are telling me that they are not getting notified of my videos until sometimes as later as the next day. So I'm not sure why that is. So just, you know, I don't know how you would keep an eye out for that, but I just got that vibe from him. Like, he, you know, I believe was obsessed with her. That's what I got from that video that he took of her in the black dress. And he's like, I recorded this without you knowing. That's because you're a freak, you know. And I think he could feel her at that time pulling away from him. And then ever since, you know, she went missing, he's been all like, he was like, no, I'm going to find her. I'm going to bring her home. I know she's safe. Yada, yada, yada. Then gets that stupid ass tattoo that says, stay alive for me. It's like, what, you know? And now he's like, got her stuff. And it's so crazy to me. It's like, Lindsay, Kiely didn't want him. You know, now he's all up in her house, all up in her life. It's so crazy to me. And Sammy's off at college living, or wherever she is, and living her life and doing her own thing. None of these teens knew they were never going to have to pay for this. They knew they were going to frickin' be able to walk away from this without, you know. But they all got blood on their hands as far as I'm concerned. Every one of them. And isn't it weird how in that video he was like, that he took of her, he's like, oh, I'm going to throw you in the water. I don't know. There's just a lot of crazy coincidental things that have come up in this case. And, you know, there was a lot of people that wanted to come at me. When I first started making videos and I called people out, and Jagger was one of them. And people were like, "Oh my God, you're so insensitive. How could you talk to him like that? Like, he is grieving and yada, yada, yada." Same thing they said about the mother. And I'll say it again. I have never seen a grieving mother in this case. That has never been what Lindsay was. And Jagger, you know what, wasn't either. And I said right in the beginning, when he wanted to take everybody's word for it, well, because he says he wasn't at that party, right? He wasn't. I say, yeah, that's because I don't believe there was a damn party. So him saying, "Oh, I wasn't at the party," yeah, I believe that, because I don't believe there was a party, but I do believe you were a part of what took place, and I believe you know about it. Sorry. Okay, sorry. So anyway, back to what I was saying. And for him, so he claims he was not there, but for him to immediately, a girl that you love, right? A girl that you're supposedly in love with, and she's your everything, and blah, blah, blah. But yet you're willing to accept and listen to the story that's going around, that she was all drunk and she was all wasted and drugged up and all of this, and she was just going to get in the car and drive, and all of this. And you were just you were defending Sammy, you were defending all the friends. You were just jumped on this thing with all the rest of them. So you know what? In my book, yeah, in my opinion, you know exactly what happened. So I don't feel bad for you at all. When you want to post an Instagram crying and being like, "Oh my God, I'm so sad, feel sorry for me," I don't feel sorry for not one damn person in that place. The only person I feel sorry for is Kiely. And now she's in a better place. Thank God she's not around any of you freaking ass idiots anymore. So she is in a better place. And I hate to say that, because her life was taken so tragically, so don't get me wrong, that's not what I mean. But now she's not all up in the darkness anymore. She's not surrounded by darkness anymore. And that's exactly what Truckee, her mother, all these teens, all these freaking, these Ellie, that's exactly what all these people are. So, that's how I feel about that. All of them, you guys. I could go on and on about all of them, because they're all just suspect as F. And you guys, it is super odd. Again, what isn't odd in this case, but it's super odd that the autopsy and shit came out. Listen, we know it's bullshit. None of the information matched up. None of the information matched with what everybody said about her. Not the weight, not the hair length, not the height, not the tattoo. There was no dental records. She was identified by a detective, not a family member. Like, all of this shit, all of these red flags, all this shit that just doesn't make any sense, right? Oh, my screen is stuck. Hold on. Sorry, you guys. Okay, I don't know what happened there. It was just all a bunch of BS. Nothing matched up, right? So it's just fitting in this case, because that's how everything has gone. Okay, let me get out of that. Are you guys getting me clear? It's saying like interruptions. Stream has been interrupted. Yep. I don't know, you guys, but it's, Ellie never came out. That's where I was going with that. I lost my train of thought. Ellie never came out and made a statement after that autopsy was released. Now, Ellie told us, listen, you're not going to get another update from us until November 1st. So are they going to notify us on November 1st, gave us that time from the autopsy till the time they come out and say, yep, it was, our official announcement, it was an accident. And I think what I'm going to do, too, is since we went back and went through the press conferences, I don't know if you guys would be interested, but I think I'm going to go back and just, look at some of the other things that happened throughout, some of the stuff that we found out about, and just kind of look at that again. I don't know if that's something y'all be interested in, but I find it, you now that we know the outcome, again, going back and looking, you realize, how much shit was right out there in your face of the lack of investigating that was going on, I will say. It's just so bizarre. And all of this corruption and all of this cover up, and it happened on the net, and it happened in front of the whole entire world. And these people just think they're going to, they might get away with it. It's insane to me. There's still a few of us in the fight. I know, there's still a few of us standing up for Kiely and looking for answers, even though they want to say, that's it, case closed. Bullshit. And how can you ever just walk away from that, you guys? How can you ever just walk away knowing, that the corruption is there? It's just so hard. Knowing she did not get any justice. It's hard. But karma's a bitch, and karma will go after everybody involved. That's just how it works. I know I told Muse News one day, I said, listen, Sammy and everybody else involved better get their big boy pants on because karma is coming. Oh, Sammy took over the investigation from the very beginning. She's basically the person that we all heard from. And she's the person that this whole story, this whole case came from. Sammy. And like I said before, hold on. We don't know. And this is a fact. Because we can't trust the autopsy. We don't know when Kiely was last alive. We don't know that. But again, I will say it, you have to ask yourself, and I say this because why else would they have to fake a last known sighting? They said that that picture was taken of her at a local truckie business at 6:08 p.m. I've said this many times. Our first clue should have been that they didn't name the business. They always name the business. And it was a video. It was supposedly taken from a video, right? But no video ever came out about it. And then we all started to pull that picture apart because we're like, that's not Kiely, that's Sammy. And then on top of that, so it's like, why would you have to fake that picture? Because they wanted us to think that she was at this place in this area at this time before the party. And they were like, well, making up this party will give us the perfect excuse for her to come up missing. We'll say it was this crazy party. We'll say these bunch of older sketchy dudes came out. We'll say they came from all around the area. And we'll just say that she disappeared that night. So let's put a picture out saying this is her last known sighting. Right? Because why else would they have a fake photo? Why else? Why wouldn't they have her legit photo of her? Because when did this really happen to Kiely? Like, what really happened and when did it happen? Because I don't believe the story. I don't believe the narrative. I don't believe any of it. It's all bullshit. And I don't care who listen, that's my opinion. But again, you really have to ask yourself, what reason would they have to put that photo out and say this is her last known picture? Why? What reason? If she was legit there getting gas, why isn't there a video of her? Why didn't they name the business? Why didn't any of this shit happen like it does in regular cases? So I will say it again. What happened to Kiely and when did it freaking happen? We don't know that. And I don't think that we are going to know that. Unless somebody grows a conscience and comes out and says it. But with this group who was born and raised in the truckie way, and like Megan said, it's really ingrained in their DNA, nobody's going to come out and talk. Nobody's going to come out and say anything. So we're left digging for answers. Because I want justice for this girl. The people that did this to her should not be able to walk around freely. And I don't care who that is. Please, you guys, please hit that thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel. It's a free way for you to help out the channel. Again, anybody that wants to donate to the channel, there's 2 links down in the description below. We would really appreciate it. And anybody who wants to join the family and become a member, the link is down in the description below as well. I've really enjoyed you guys. Like, you guys are awesome subscribers. We have an awesome community here. You guys have just been the best. I like talking to you guys. You guys are awesome, And like I said, there's a few of us left that are out there fighting for justice for her. But we're only us. I'm only a mom who just wants the truth. That's it. That's all I am. I try to do the best I can, you guys. I try to put it out there. Like, that's all I can do is, like, bring awareness to it. Try to expose some shit. Try to, try to get rid of bring light to some of that darkness. Oh, thank you guys. You guys are awesome. But I do think, you guys, I'm having a lot of problems. I do think that, like, I don't know if it's because I'm going against the narrative. I don't know if it's because I'm questioning what they're saying. But I am having some problems on YouTube with, like, notifications and things not, you know, happening the way they're supposed to happen. So I don't know what's up with that, but all right, you guys, I want to thank you all for being here. I got to go get dinner ready and stuff. I love you guys. Stay strong, stay healthy, stay safe. Keep asking those hard questions. And please, anyone who can, please make a donation. Links are down in the description below. And anybody that wants to join the family, please do so. And again, congratulations to you guys, to the winners of our first giveaway. So yes, email me. Again, I will make a post after this video is out. I'll make a post with the winners' names, just in case you guys weren't in here. But the Cindy Jersey Shore was a winner, and Shelly Hall was our other winner. All right, you guys, please have a good night. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you, Muse News. You guys, everybody have a blessed night or day. All right, goodbye.